Hey Kettleers fans, your 2022 sideline reporter here, Jenna Meyer, joined by head coach Mike Roberts. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. It's a fun time of the year with practice going on right before we open.
All right, so let's get right into it. First, we're going to talk a little bit about two back-to-back scrimmages to open up the season. First against the Lexington Blue Sox, an annual thing here for the Kettleers, followed by the first ever scrimmage against the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. Big offensive production for the Kettleers in those matchups. What kind of takeaways did you take out of those experiences, and what kind of impacted what you were working on in practice leading up to opening day?
Well, I think on the offensive aspect, the pitching was certainly not up to Cape League par, but it gave them a chance to relax and to see whether or not, in certain situations, we could handle the pitching. And the guys did a great job of that in both games. So pleased with the offense. Pitching-wise, we threw strikes relatively well. Defensive, we handled the ball and we ran the bases. I think average right now. We've worked on it a lot, but that's what the scrimmages are for, so that I can learn a little bit more about each player so I know better how to work with them.
Absolutely. And here at the Kettleers, we have a couple veterans coming back this year. Cape League experience already, a few second years, and even a few third years out here at Lowell Park. What kind of leadership are they able to display, and how does that help kind of the Kettleers going in early in this season?
Well, I feel like it helps me for sure that all the leadership should not come from coaches. It should come from teammates. To have guys like Harrison Cohen back, who was with us in the championship year of 19 toward the end, and then 21, and now again this year. To have Ryan Ritter back, and to have Brooks Baldwin return from UNC Wilmington, and Ryan from Kentucky, and several more players, it does help to have more confidence as we open up, to feel like that you have some team continuity because they know what I prefer, what I like, and that we're not a team yet. We're just a group of individuals, including the coaching staff, that's driven here or flown here from all over America. And you put on the same uniform, that doesn't make a team. It makes a bunch of individuals wearing the same uniform. So having some veterans back, and of course the COVID years with a lot of the players receiving extra years of eligibility helps them to be able to play longer collegiately and in college summer baseball. I think it's a real comfort zone for me. Does not mean we're going to win, doesn't mean we're going to be a great club, but I think it helps us to get off to a little better start.
Absolutely. And then on the contrary, quite a few new faces here all around Lowell Park. We have some underclassmen as well. You've seen them practice a little bit, just getting started here at Lowell Park. Have any stuck out to you, really impressed you, and some that Kettleers fans should be on the lookout for?
Well, I think there's a lot they should be on the lookout for. Nobody's jumped out and impressed me yet because we haven't played enough. You learn as you coach. Practice is one thing, but games are a whole different area of concern. But again, we're looking for quality people who are teachable, coachable, who also put the team first, and then put in really good practice hours. And this team has done that. And most of the teams that I've been with here in almost 20 years at Cotuit have done a wonderful job in practice. You know, are there players that jump out at you? Sure, they absolutely, without a doubt. You look at a player like Victor Scott in center field, who's just a great athlete. We went dancing yesterday, the whole team, and you know, you kind of see the athleticism in that as well. But he's a great athlete. You look at Caleb Lomavita from Hawaii and the University of California, and you see a phenomenal athlete. You know, is he an outstanding catcher yet in the Cape League? Yet to be determined. You place arms out on the mound like Cade Morris from Nevada, who I knew very little about. Peter Flaherty Sr. did his great recruitment job there and brought Cade in, and all of a sudden the first couple balls out of his hand are 95, 96, 97 miles an hour. Privet from College of Charleston had a phenomenal spring as a closer. There playing for one of my former players, Chad Holbrook. So yes, have some guys jumped out. But I'd like to answer that question after Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday's game and a day off Wednesday. So if we want to redo this interview on Wednesday, I'll tell you a lot more.
Definitely. We'll check back in about some of those key players. And moving over a little bit to the Major League Baseball draft, this is the second year. It is now in about mid-July. How does that change your approach to the Cape League and those players that are draft eligible?
I don't know about the approach, but it gives me a lot more gray hairs in the 6 weeks going from when we show up here in Cotuit until this year, July 17, 18, and 19. It's a whole different style of recruiting now that the draft has moved back. Each franchise makes a decision, okay, are you going to bring in 30 non-draftable young men that are younger, not as experienced, and just live with that, and forget, a little bit more experience, maybe a few more talented, but you're dealing with consistency. And I think everybody likes consistency, and certainly the host families do, so they have somebody for the whole summer. So far, in the first 2 years, we have chosen to try to have some kind of balance between in our numbers of 30 between non-draftable and then bringing in experienced players who are pretty talented that we know come July 17th, 18th, 19th, and probably all the way up to August 1st, free agency, that we're going to lose. Last year we did it. We had a really good record early, then the draft came, we lost a lot of people, we lost 5 games in a row, but somehow the team regrouped and ended up in the 14 playoff, which was difficult. This year there's an 18 playoff. Hopefully we'll regroup and make that 18 playoff. But we will lose, I think, off of this club that's here now. If they stay healthy, we're probably going to lose in the area of 8 to 12 players come July 17, 18, and 19. And so we're doing a second round of recruitment right now to see which players that we can bring in about that time.
Absolutely. And then moving over in general, this is the 75th season of Cotuit Kettleers baseball. Coach, you have had a very big impact on this program here. What is kind of one of your favorite memories being involved with the organization, and what kind of legacy and impact are you looking to continue to leave?
Well, I had somebody ask me the other day when they heard it was the 75th anniversary, were you here on the first anniversary? I said, oh, you're really funny, but my almost 20 years here, the legacy, if there is such a thing, and I was just talking to one of our players, the legacy here is really Coach Roberts and his staff. Did we bring really good people here that were willing, as players, while they've got scouts and advisors and parents and girlfriends and college coaches and high school coaches all around them all the time and talking in their ear, were they really interested in the village of Cotuit? Did every time they walk out of the ballpark, did they speak and play with a 2 and a 3 and a 4-year-old? Or did they stop and talk to an 85-year-old or a 90-year-old that maybe he's in a wheelchair or walking with a cane? Because we have all of this in this little ballpark in this community. That's the most important thing to me, that we're friendly. And as I spoke with the team yesterday, I said, look, we don't fool anybody in the stands. Our fans are Red Sox fans first. They understand baseball. Okay, morning, noon, and night, 24 hours a day. You will not fool these fans at all. So they'll look and say, oh, wow, yeah, we can tell they're a tight-knit group. We can tell they like to play. We can tell that they're interested at the end of the season when a lot of players in this league are wanting to go home. That's the legacy that for me is that we brought young people who loved and embraced the community, and will never forget, ever, this one-in-a-lifetime experience, or maybe for some of these guys, second and third time now in their life, and that Cotuit will always be a part of their life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach Mike Roberts, for joining us today, giving us a little glimpse into what to expect this upcoming season with the Cotuit Kettleers and a little bit of the magic here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. I'm Jenna Meyer for Kettleers Digital Network.